Okay, Year 10, so this is a small presentation with some advice on how to answer and how to approach the questions in the booklet on entertainment and leisure. Alright, so here are the questions, right? There's 8 to answer and we've got the English next to it. Now that is exactly the same as how you would see that in your conversation booklets if you don't actually have it with you. So the next slide here now is how you actually answer these questions. Now, my biggest piece of advice for anybody is steal. Wherever you can, steal. What we've found in the past is that the hardest thing is just getting going. So the questions are there to give you a prompt. So number 1, I will ask you, qu'est-ce que tu fais pendant ton temps libre? Now you start by stealing from the question. Pendant mon temps libre, during my free time, j'aime. Now the next word will be a verb in the infinitive. So j'aime regarder, j'aime jouer, whatever. Whatever you want to say, completely up to you. You can use your book to answer these questions, of course. But most importantly, don't just say, oh, j'aime jouer au foot, full stop. Tell us why. Always give a reason if you can, always justify. With question number 2, quelle sorte de musique aimes-tu, pourquoi? And you can start, and you can say what you like really, can't you? J'aime or j'adore la musique. What genre? And maybe give an example. Now there's possibly here an opportunity to give a past tense phrase. For example, j'ai vu, name of the band, en concert l'année dernière. I saw so-and-so in concert last year. Don't forget though the pourquoi part of this question too. Alright, so what sort of music do you like? Why? Number 3, est-ce que tu préfères un bon film ou un bon livre? Do you prefer a good book or a good film? Je préfère whatever it is, and why? You could, again, give an example of the last book you read, the last film you saw. That's for your past tense. Remember, we're looking to try and get in as many tenses here as we can. Or one you'd like to read, or one that you'd like to see. This is the conditional tense. Easy way to get this in is using je voudrais. So you might say something like, je voudrais lire Harry Potter. Or je voudrais regarder whatever film you want to talk about. Easy way to get the conditional tense. Number 4, est-ce que les passe-temps sont importants pour les jeunes? Now this is a really weird question. I'm not entirely sure how I'd answer this in English. Are hobbies important for young people? I've just written a ready-made answer here. Feel free to nick it if you want to, or you can build on it, or write your own. I've put, à mon avis, les passe-temps sont importants. Stolen from the question. Car, because ils m'aident, they help me to relax or to forget the stress of school, something like that. If you've got any other suggestions, then feel free to write them down and I'll mark them and make any edits that we need to. Number 5, qu'est-ce que tu as fait le week-end dernier pour te détendre? This is past tense. What did you do last weekend to relax? Le week-end dernier, whatever you did. Now, this is where you show off. Can you use a Mrs. Van der Tramp here? The easy one would be je suis allé, I went. But that's easy in the sense that you know it, you've heard it, and you've used it regularly for the past 4 years. Can you put another one in there? That'll be interesting. Number 6, qu'est-ce que tu vas faire le week-end prochain? This is future tense. Le week-end prochain, there's no H. Je vais plus a verb in the infinitive. So, je vais jouer au foot again. Je vais aller en ville. Je vais faire du shopping. Whatever you're going to do. Who with? Avec mes amis, avec mes parents. Why? Etc., etc. The more detail, the better. Comment serait ton week-end idéal? Now, by answering this question, you have to use the conditional tense because serait means would be. So you go, mon weekend idéal serait. The examiner hears this and goes, this person knows exactly what they're talking about. And then just tell us exactly what you would do on your ideal weekend. And finally, si tu avais plus de temps ou d'argent, qu'est-ce que tu aimerais faire? Once again, we're in the conditional tense. So, si j'avais plus d'argent, if I had more money, j'achèterais, I would buy. Whatever you would buy. Si j'avais plus de temps, an easy one might be j'irais, I would go. And then whatever you would do. You don't have to use j'irai or j'achèterai. I'm just thinking I did this quickly, you know. Anything that you would like. We haven't looked at the conditional tense, right? So if there's any I would verbs that you need, chuck those questions in the team and I'll answer you. Now the other thing I've noticed over the years is people freak out about how much you need to write for each answer. So consider the following. These are questions that I ask you in the conversation part of the speaking exam. Now the conversation part for higher tier should last roughly 2.5 minutes. Now that seems like a long time, but it goes like this. That was a click in case you didn't hear it. That 2.5 minutes includes me asking you the question. It includes your response and any other non-verbal utterances like in and are in, thinking time, so on and so forth. Now there's 8 questions in all, so you don't need to go mad, right? Just ensure that you do the following things. You actually answer the question. That's why the last slide has been included, just to get you going. Make sure that you answer in the appropriate tense. Now I've put a star in there because ideally you want to be covering past, present, future. The wording of the questions forces you into the certain tense. Most questions will be in the present tense anyway, and you just answer them. Where it's past tense, it's been quite obvious. Where it's future tense or conditional, it's been quite obvious. Justify what you say. You can't just say, something random and just leave it like that. Give us reasons. Pass, occur, or car, whichever one you prefer. Now, if you're going to start showing off, getting into those A and A star categories, get some fancy stuff in there, idioms, etc. Mrs. Van der Tramp, all of that sort of stuff is going to get you into the top band. And ensure that you can say what you write. Now, there's no good writing down something proper fancy and sophisticated if you've got no idea how to say it. You might not think you know how to say things, but bear in mind now, you need to learn these answers in year 11 and for your year 10 mock. So it's a balancing act between these 5, isn't it? If you want to include a word but you've got no idea how to say it, maybe leave it for now. Certainly until we're back in school face to face where I can help you out. Okay? This is your task for lesson 1 on Tuesday the 9th of March. When you have finished these answers, please email them to me. I'll give them a mark. Hopefully there'll be very little negative feedback to give, and that'll be that. I hope this has been helpful. It's just building on some things that I've been asked over the years in both Spanish and French. Any questions, as ever, let me know.